Today I have this Aeros RC Tecnam to fly. It's a really enjoyable RC airplane, so let's get this one up in the air.
A bit of rough grass. This is a tricycle gear plane then with a kind of a weak nose gear also. So I'm having good speed today just because I'm flying this on a 4S 2200 mAh battery. Although the specifications just says this is a 3S RC airplane. I mean, it's just when you put a 4S battery in this plane, it just feels right. And in my experience with the Aeros RC airplanes, many of them, kind of the warbirds, they are specified to do 3S, but just to get the right CG and the right amount of power, I think they in fact are 4S, most of them. So this plane is really well tuned to do 4S. Just a little bit of kind of motor and prop vibration when you go full throttle. You do have good inverted flying with this plane. Quite okay elevator authority, so no worries. Really great speed on 4S. Flies straight as an arrow. Reminds me very much of kind of how the E-flite Turbo Timber Evolution, but this plane feels more sporty than the Turbo Timber in my opinion. And just with flaps then it glides really well also. It's a lightweight RC plane, so just compared to the Turbo Timber Evolution then I think it's like 500 grams lighter or something. It's a really significant lower weight on this plane, which means that it flies way easier. Now I cannot say that I really love the design of this plane because I don't. I think that the Turbo Timber Evolution then in comparison is a better looking RC plane. So I could also compare this to the Tasman at 1.5 from X-Fly. Tasman I think flies really great. Also a great package, but I mean this one is lighter, and even though kind of nice landings, you have this nose gear which it's a little bit vulnerable, just as with most tricycle gear planes then, so I would certainly be really careful when I fly this plane and land, just to be able to save the nose gear. I really have to flare and try to land on the mains as much as possible. So some planes are just made to do touch and goes, and I think then if you have the E-flite Cherokee 1.3 plane, I think it handles touch and goes very well because there's a spring mechanism to the nose gear, really sturdy nose gear also. And on mine I replaced the rudder servo to a metal gear servo, but just because the plastic gear servo broke. This is, I mean, it's a really speedy plane on 4S, and as long as you don't push it more than maybe 85-90%, I think it no odd prop vibration. I believe that the motor inside is the same motor as is in the Aeros RC Bigfoot, and I mean it can handle 4S no problems. Kind of a little bit more sluggish roll rate than I would prefer. Then again, just compared to most other 1.5 meter wingspan RC airplanes, it is really comparable, so not really worse than the competition in my opinion. LED lights, well, they are there, maybe not the best implementation on this RC airplane. Good prop sound. Even with this kind of a little bit of a lame color scheme on this plane, I think visibility is good just because it is a quite large RC airplane just compared to my usual 1.1 to 1.3. So a nice touch and go. Really easy to move around even close to the ground. There's another touch and go. Just really touch and go. Just kind of a small bounce in the air and I'm up again. I mean, I think the speed on the 4S is really impressive. And if you like to fly this one on the 3S battery, as it is supposed to do, I think you can just make really great flights. Also, it's just that, as you can see with us the 4S, you just push it and it responds right away. Really excellent flying behavior. No worries, flying quite low and sporty. So interestingly enough, I have one hold, which of course could have been when I just bound this plane and put in the battery. And I do have a Spectrum AR637T, which usually just means better reception than the 630 and 631 receivers I have in other planes. It can also be that I just have the kind of the antenna leads somewhere stuck near the linkage or battery cable or something, so I will just have to check it out. No worries though. So here, kind of a bounce at first, but then it became a little bit more smoother on the second touch and go. Nice big loops, easy to achieve. It really flies straight as an arrow, this plane. It's also a great float flying plane. But I think then in comparison, if you have the Eurofly Tundra version 3 on floats, I think it's an even better float plane. And certainly more in line with the Aeros RC Bigfoot in agility and just maneuverability. But nevertheless, I think this is a really sweet plane. I have very little to complain about. I wish that this design would be better with just better stickers and also a little bit better light setup. Other than that, I think it's an easy built, great performer. But you should, if you have this plane, you should really do 4S. I think it just makes this plane really come alive. You can do nice, smooth grass landings also.
I think that this plane is really enjoyable just because it is so just gentle to fly, and you have a really good package. You have flaps, which just then slows down this RC plane really well. You have floats included. It's a tricycle gear RC plane, so of course you have kind of this a little bit of a vulnerable nose wheel, like with all kind of a tricycle gear RC planes. But even on shorter grass, I think that this plane handles nice. So surely one I will just come back to and show more flights in the future.